All right, we are live. Um, just wanted to get on here and talk about a couple things. Um, in the news today, there has been this leaked Telegram message. Um, well, a whole bunch of messages from uh, the young Republicans. Let me find. Let me pull this up. Okay, they say we are appalled by the vile and inexcusable language revealed in the political article published today. Such behavior is disgraceful, unbecoming of any Republican, and stands in direct opposition to those values our movement represents. Those involved must they must immediately resign from all positions within their state and local young Republican organizations. We must hold ourselves to the highest standards of integrity, respect, and professionalism. So, this is the latest thing that's out there. Of course, this post on Twitter got completely demolished, as as you knew it would, as it should. But I have some thoughts about it. I've never live streamed before. This is my first one. So if I'm bad at it, this is my very first one, so you got to give me a little grace. My videos are normally really polished. There's a lot of editing that goes into them, and I do struggle with keeping my train of thought. So I'm going to try my best. So be patient with me. Anyways, I had some thoughts about this because, first off, it's really shameful, and it's really a sign of um, sort of the internal struggle that's going on in the right at the moment. Um, I read this book earlier this year called "Tear Down This Myth" by Will Bunch, and it's about Reagan and about how Reagan really influenced politics for so many years and how he's still influencing politics. And in 2008, during the debates, it was sort of a like between all the Republicans who were trying to replace George Bush, it was really a Reagan impersonation contest. It was a contest to see who could be the most like Reagan. It was really pathetic, honestly. And it's interesting. Like the candidates were Mike Pompeo, Ron Paul, Mitt Romney, and John McCain. It was at the Reagan National Library in Simi Valley. It's 2008, and it was just really pathetic. I mean, it's just the wimpiest, neoconiest, war machinist type of debate that you could have. And you can see that this style of Republican really continued from Reagan all the way until the moment Trump stepped on that stage and insulted everybody right to their face. It was really up until that moment, they were totally committed to being the wimpiest people on the planet. And, he really smacked him in the face and he's just like, this woman's fat and you're a retard. And they're like, what? You could say that? They didn't even know. They didn't even know what to do. I mean, and so, and they hate Trump. I mean, the GOP hates Trump. They have always hated Trump. The moment January 6th happened, Fox News turned on him. The whole GOP establishment turned on him. They really dislike him, and they hate this type of rhetoric. They hate any sort of spicy Republican, anyone to the right. To be truly right, they hate him. And about 2 years ago, when the campaign was firing up, I made this video about Mike Pence, and Mike Pence is, I think he's like grown in a lab. He's focus group tested. to specifically pander to like 90-year-olds who are like Reagan's biggest fans. They're all about to die. They watch 700 Club, and their idea of a good candidate is somebody like Mike Pence. Let me pull up a picture of old Mikey here. I mean, look at this guy. He's inoffensive. The only things we know about him is that he likes Harleys. I think he was in Indiana. He's just a sort of Midwest goober. He's just nice, sweet. He helps old women cross the road. Totally inoffensive. But he was forced down our throat. You know, Jordan Peterson interviewed him. He was the establishment's pick, I think. And he's doing a Reagan impression. That's really what he is. He's an actor trying to do a Reagan impression. And that's all he can repeat is peace through strength and just bumper sticker talking points. There's nothing to it. This is if the GOP had its way, they would have this guy at every single event. They would have 10,000 of this guy. He is what they want. And you can see it. There's a new version of him. He didn't work, obviously. There's a new version of him. It's this guy, Breland Hollyhands. I mean, look at those nails. Good Lord. I mean, he had a manicure on a private jet to go to a college campus tour. He has no following. I mean, he does have a following. He has 220,000 followers on Twitter. I'm sure he has more now, but right when he popped on the scene, that's how many he had. No one had ever heard of him, though. How does that happen? You know, he's completely astroturfed. His dad is a millionaire, I guess, who made his money from, what did he do? He put Section 8 housing and like middle class white neighborhoods. That's how he's flying on this private jet. I mean, the guy is just, he doesn't match the moment. And this is my point. Conservatives are totally, they don't know what time it is. They're completely checked out. They don't know what time it is. This guy is not who the right needs in the wake of Charlie Kirk at all. Like, at all. This guy, we need men, okay? And that's what I'm going to get to. The Republican Party is full of actual men, full of chuds, chads, studs. This guy, I mean, look at him. He looks like he's made of pre-cum. He's the 40-year-old virgin, except he's not 40. He's just a virgin. There's no redeeming qualities in him at all. And, well, you know, this is like the conservatives. It's like the last 10 years has never happened to them. COVID has never happened. The persecution of Trump has never happened. Charlie Kirk has never happened. All the violence we see on Twitter has never happened. Even the buyout of Twitter itself by Elon Musk, none of that has happened to them. If this is who they want, he's totally inoffensive. He's totally docile, totally sterile. He's the goober who helps the old lady across the street, you know, and bakes muffins or something. He kind of reminds me of Michael Knowles. Like, Michael Knowles does some of that too. Like, he plays a ukulele or whatever. And it's just not what we need. In the wake of Charlie Kirk, this is not what we need. Let me find another image here to go to. So Charlie Kirk did all the right things, right? He's exactly what you should do. He's inoffensive. He doesn't swear. He's a nice young Christian boy. In many ways, he's kind of what we're talking about. although he was moving to the right more. And they shot him. I mean, that is the bottom line. He did everything you're supposed to do, and they shot him. And then if you're to the right of Charlie Kirk, do you get any sort of adulation? Do you get any sort of recognition? Is there a place for you in the Republican Party? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And it's a real shame. I mean, the guy who leaked all these messages, he's exactly who you think he would be. Exactly who you think he would be. He's Jewish. He blackmailed people into doing what he wanted so that he could stab them in the back. It's shameful. It's totally shameful. And guys like Breland Hollyhand, Glenn, he got so much pushback. He starts doing these tours, and immediately he gets like steamrolled by a bunch of young guys who push him on APAC. They push him on immigration, and he, oh, I have no idea about APAC. I have no clue. Well, I bet that's a lie. I bet that's a lie. I bet in like 6 months we're going to find out he's totally backed by these people. I mean, he's astroturfed by somebody, and he's in bed already with the Ben Shapiros and that whole group. So he knows what APAC is. That's just a lie. And none of these people can hold up under the pressure. And, I saw a clip of Glenn Beck talking to a bunch of, I think it was America First or like what was it? Whatever, TPUSA event. And he just got completely steamrolled by a bunch of groypers in the crowd. And it doesn't have to be groypers, okay? This is just the vibe shift. These are the people you're going to encounter after the vibe shift. And you can see the look on Glenn Beck's face that it's just defeat. It's just like, oh my God, I can't argue with these people. They're on a different planet than me. And that is totally true. I want to switch to this image here. This is my home state. This is what the Republican Party said. The Kansas Republican Party leadership is disgusted by the comments by young Kansas Republicans mentioned in the Politico story. Their comments do not reflect the beliefs of Republicans and certainly not of Kansas Republicans at large, who elected a black chair a few years ago. Yeah, see, the Dems are the real racist. Republicans believe that all people are created in the image of God. In fact, our party, our platform clearly states, we welcome Kansans of every ethnicity into our party as we work together to preserve our heritage of political equality, religious freedom, and strong moral values. We strive to eliminate racism and we condemn all racist acts and groups. As of today, the Kansas Young Republicans organization is inactive. By, I don't even know how you say that name. Dandry Herbert. Now, I've seen a picture of her. She's a fat white woman. She's the voice of the Republican Party in Kansas. She's a total cuck, a total simp, a total coward. You think this is what the moment needs? Post Charlie Kirk, you really think this is what the moment needs? I have been to a town hall. I've been to some Republican meetings. It is one of the most blackpilling things I have ever done. You go there and you think, okay, there's room here, there's opportunity here. I could integrate myself in here. And well, first, let me just preface it by this: you go there, and it's all it's the people who voted for Mike Pence. It's 90-year-olds. There's a lot of walkers and tennis balls. It smells like Bengay in the room. They're all completely in left field. Like, I went to this Republican meeting for my county. They had General Mike Flynn on Zoom, and he was telling them, I'll just give you some insight into the drama of local Kansas politics here, okay? He was telling them, the left is insane. The left are communists. The left hates you and they want you dead, and we have to fight like hell. I think this was before the election. I believe it was before the election, actually, it was after the election. Trump had been in maybe just a little bit. And he said, I give Trump like an A minus or like an A or like a B plus. And there was like audible boos. They're like, oh, what the hell? And he said, yeah, they're crazy. They hate you and they want you dead. And then so that was the Zoom call. Then they had matters of business to attend to. And our mayor has been in this big battle for quite a while. And at the time, it was in the middle of this big battle. Somebody tried to put a proclamation for her to read. They tried to make her read it. And it was like, we recognize transgender people as people, or some insane virtue signal, total BS. And she said, no, I'm not going to read that. But she didn't even say that. She read like 2 proclamations or 3 proclamations. And then she let somebody else read this transgender proclamation. And the left lost it. And they're like, oh my God, this is insane. How could she possibly do that? She hates trans people. She claims to represent everybody, and clearly she doesn't. What a hypocrite. And beyond that, beyond the little temper tantrum that they threw, they tried to introduce legislation. They tried to do a bunch of different things to like codify this transgender day of visibility or whatever the hell insane thing that activists tried to put in front of her. They tried to make it legitimate. And there was a member of the Republican Party that crossed the aisle and voted with the left to try to pass this transgender day of visibility. And the Republican group in my county said, that's insane and that's unacceptable. We need to censure her. And they voted overwhelmingly. We're going to publicly disavow the behavior of this woman. Can we do that? They voted yes. Okay, so the meeting that I attend is sort of the resolution to that. And the leader, I don't know, the MC of the whole thing, he looks exactly like what you think he would look like. 40-year-old virgin. He's wearing this very large, oversized, ill-fitting suit. You know, he's about 280 pounds. He's 45. He's got pomade in his hair. He just looks like a fag, right? And he goes, okay, so what we're going to do today, as far as the censure goes, we're not going to actually censure her. The people that voted for that, the main party that voted for that, and the woman involved, they have been talking. They've been talking, and we really are looking forward to the results of the talk. And we're not going to move ahead with the censure, and we're really looking forward to what these conversations are going to turn out to be. And everybody in that room got so mad. There was people in there that were like, what's the conditions of their agreement? We want to know. Can you tell us? Well, that was a private conversation, and I don't think it's best that we discuss it. And people flipped out. Okay. In the middle of this arguing, this libertarian doofus stands up. He's got a leather jacket on. He's wearing he's bald. He's total Gen X libertarian. You could just see it on him. Chains. We all know the type that I'm talking about. He goes up there and he says, you know, about 10 years ago, there was a censure that happened, and I think it's best that we try to decide whether or not censure is really what we want to do. We need to hammer out the process of what a censure actually is. And then all these boomers who were defending that lady, who didn't want her censored, stood up and they got so mad at him. And this boomer stood up and he sticks his belly out and he's like, look, we made the decision and this is it. And if you got a problem with it, we can go out to the parking lot. It's just pathetic. They can't even censor one person. One person steps out of line, votes 100% opposite of what Republicans know they need to do, and they can't even build up the balls to publicly reprimand her. But they have tons of energy to go after some young people in a chat. So some young people that decided to make a couple edgy jokes. They have tons of energy for that. It's really telling. The more time goes on, the more that this vibe shift goes on, I think you're going to realize that if you are a high IQ, high testosterone male, there is no place in politics for you. Previously, I think it was the Republican Party. But like the title of the stream says, as I look at the camera, Republicans are worthless. They're totally cucked on every issue. The Republican Party, the GOP at this point, they see the way the winds are blowing and they doubled down on the Israel worship, on the Israel simpery, on the Israel cuckoldry. They love it more than anything. I think internally they're screaming, they're punching the air. They're going, we had a good deal going on. You know, you join this little grift, you make content, we take the L. It's kayfabe. We were never meant to win. We get a couple votes based on the clips that we produce, and we get paid. We get our little power. We get our little spot. We get our name recognition for our spot at the cocktail party. And our friends on the other aisle, oh, they're going to be so mad about these messages. What are we going to do? But what they don't realize is if they don't do something, if they don't appeal, if they don't start pandering to the younger generations, they're going to lose everything. Because Telegram is the right. You have to understand this. The left has no filter. What you saw about Charlie Kirk was all public. All the stuff about Charlie Kirk, that was all in public on their real names. These idiots were doing it on their LinkedIns. Republicans, at least, I say Republicans, right-wingers, young right-wingers, know how the last 10 years have worked. They know that if you say what you truly think, you're going to get fired. And so they have hid. They have went to private Telegram chats. And this Judas, Gavin Wax, he betrayed them, right? This is how they have to get you. They have to infiltrate your little group. They have to blackmail you. They have to do all this work. It's a lot of work because the opinions aren't out there. And if you think what we're saying on Telegram chats is bad, well, real life is even worse. And what's interesting is Charlie Kirk had said with Tucker Carlson that he existed to de-radicalize young men. That was his goal. I'm going to de-radicalize them. As tempting as it is to talk this way and act this way and see all these observations about the world and come to this conclusion, you shouldn't do it. You should actually kind of just get along to go along. That is over. That's totally over. He played it right and they shot him. This Breland Hollyhands, he's not the future of the party. The Conservative Party is going to have to make a decision whether or not they want to be competent if they want to have men in their party, because this is how men talk. If you get a bunch of high T, high IQ men together, this is how they talk. Unfortunately, it's just what they do. And young guys, especially, are going to talk like that. They don't care. If you're 80 years old, you're seeing these messages and you're going, oh my God, they said, I love Hitler. Oh my God. But you have to understand that these people, young men, were raised in Call of Duty lobbies where that is the least offensive thing that we've ever said. It really is. And the Republican Party, they're going to have to deal with the vibe shift. And I have made a bunch of content on this. I've made some videos. I mean, they're going to have to deal with it because every event is going to be this. And boomers are just off in their own world. I was listening to Dave the Distributist talk about this new neighborhood that he had moved into in California. And, it should be a nice neighborhood full of young families. And instead, the only people who can afford it were boomers who were like milkmen back in the day. And they're stuck in like 1995. They have no concept that anything has moved. To them, this is really offensive. To them, this is like just a bridge too far. There's just no way that this could ever be. But I'm telling you, this is the future. And they're going to have to deal with it. And if they can't deal with it, they're going to lose the competent men. And I had this piece I've been working on called Promoted to Guest. I don't know if you have ever heard this saying before, but promoted to guest is a phrase I heard at a restaurant one time. It refers to if you can't perform the job right. Let's say you're working at a restaurant, you're cooking there. Let's say you refuse to follow orders. You refuse to get along. You're incompetent. You're stupid. You're going to get promoted to guest. And it's super obvious that the GOP is completely ran by women. It's totally feminized. Like every single account. Like I saw like this Kansas GOP statement that was from a woman. I think the Indiana young Republican group that was ran by a woman. I saw another young Republican leader. She denounced it, and she's like a Mexican woman. This promoted to guest idea that I had is basically like, we let you in the kitchen, ironically. We let you do work. We let you back here. We let you mess with the recipes. And now the business is failing. Everything is failing. The GOP is totally screwed. On paper, we own everything, despite all the incompetence, despite the feminine attitudes, despite the Israel cuckoldry. We still won. And yet we self-sabotage because we're afraid of being called racist, like it's 2012 or something. Who cares? Who gives a shit? I don't. If you're not called racist, I don't trust you. If you're not called, if they don't call you a fascist, I don't trust you. What have you been doing? Oh, I'm playing the center. There's truth on both sides, truth is in moderation. Get screwed. Get off the fence. Pick a side. Grow up. Get extreme. Pick a side. Who is still pandering to the left? Who's going, oh, no. This is the future of politics, okay? You're going to have a bunch of high IQ men who go up and they reject your frame. They never grant you frame. So you go, oh my God, that sounds racist. And you go, okay, sure. Yeah, I'm a racist. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? You never grant frame, ever. You never apologize. You never grant frame. You double down. You accuse them of what they're doing to you. You go, you're gonna call me out. You're gonna call people out for, using the N-word in a private Telegram chat. But we have Jay Jones out here threatening to kill people, or not threatening, but like wishing death on his political opponent. And not even just that, but death on his kids. He's out here saying that people can't change their mind unless they feel pain through the death of their children. Okay, you throw it back in their face. You never grant frame. This is the future. You never argue. I'm done arguing with the left. It's over. I'm not arguing. I'm not trying to convince anyone's minds. I'm trying to get power, and I'm trying to fed post. I'm trying to do stuff that these people find reprehensible, okay? Because I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of housing being unaffordable. I'm tired of H-1B visas. I'm tired of the crime. It's all too much. It has to stop. Okay? And so it's either between these people or the left. Okay? It's either between these cowards or the murderous left. Okay? I have no one to vote for. No one to, well, democracy's gay and fake anyways. But like, I don't have anyone that represents me. I'm totally disenfranchised. It's a total joke. So what do I have? I'm not voting anymore. What do I have? I have to subvert. I have to live my life as a minority. I have to find racial consolidation. I have to find people that are like-minded. I can't do this. What am I going to do? What is this? We strive to eliminate racism and we condemn all racist acts and groups. Good luck with that. Dan, I can't even say her stupid name. How do you say that? Danedry? Mrs. Herbert. I'll go with that. Mrs. Herbert. Strive to eliminate racism and we condemn all racist acts. You guys have no idea what's coming. You have no idea what's coming. We can't have this anymore. I mean, this whole system is propped up on, I mean, it's on its last legs. Morgoth wrote this article called Elephant on Stilts, and that's where we're at. I mean, that's what this is. This is an elephant on stilts, barely propped up. It's barely going to do anything. Super fragile. It's not the future of the party. They're worthless. I mean, they're not going to come to save you. They hate you. In fact, the action, they have no action planned. There's no, they get total power, and what do? They shut down the government. That's stupid. They own it. They own everything. Congress is a dormant branch of government. You know, Trump petered out after about 3 weeks. We get a lot of Israel stuff. It'd be really interesting to see how these chats would have been handled if the majority of the people were Jewish. It'd be funny. Well, we know how it'd be handled. It'd be handled about like how the tunnels in New York were handled. God can't see you if you're in a Telegram chat. He can't see you if you're underground. That's what we would be told. But anyways, I just want to point this out. I think it's really, this is the struggle, right? We're going to have, it's just the boomer truth regime. It's just boomers desperately hanging on to power. They're desperately hanging on to civil rights. They're desperately hanging on to disparate impact. They're hanging on to this notion of not being racist above everything else. And it's not working. It's just totally not working. Sorry, I totally abandoned that idea about promoted to guest, but like women haven't panned out. This is female leadership at its best right here. You know, during COVID, I remember football season was about to start. And this female governor, this was after the fact, this female governor said that she was unsure what to do. What are we going to do? Are we going to allow football games? And so she called another female governor and she said, hey, in your state, are you going to allow football games? And that lady was like, oh God, no, I would never do that. And the lady was like, oh, thank God, because I wanted to, but I just wasn't sure what you were going to do. And so I just thought I'd call and see. And so you get this whole managerialism, consensus based. They don't want to piss anybody off. We don't want to be racist. Oh, they'd be so mean. Oh, God forbid a couple 22-year-olds, say retard and faggot in a Telegram chat. Oh no. Oh no. What are we going to do? The left is going to be so mad. Oh God. No. What'll they think? I might have to go out and make a statement. Oh, Jesus God, no. This is what you get when you have Mrs. Herbert be your GOP chair. This is what you get when you have the young Republicans who are, I don't have the board of directors on there, but it's Mrs. Scheinstein. Mrs. Scheinstein. That's insane. We've had enough. It can't go on. And Charlie Kirk and Tucker, they were talking about how radical are young people getting? They're getting pretty radical. It's like, yeah, they are getting pretty radical. What are we going to do about it? No, nothing. Literally nothing. Well, can you acknowledge that some of the struggles that they face are real? Absolutely not. Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. It's not real. Quit buying avocado toast. Oh, buy a flip phone. Grind. I wrote about this in my piece on self-help culture, how it's dying, how it just doesn't apply anymore. These idiots don't understand that there was no self-help culture in, Soviet Russia. At least I don't think there was. I'm pretty sure there wasn't. When the kulaks were getting murdered by Stalin, I don't think they had self-help culture. I don't think they were out there hustling. They had to get their grind set mentality. I don't think they were. And why is that? Why is communism bad, boomers? Why is it bad? Because there's no economic opportunity? Because you become a minority that they have designated that you're okay to kill? Because they try to ethnically replace you? Because gay race communism is murderous? Okay? This is why communism is bad. And then you go, okay, well, we're starting to feel some of that here. Could you do anything about it? No. No. When I went to that meeting, when I went to that town hall with our senator, there was a lady there. She was probably 65 or something. She was the most out of it bimbo I've ever met. She was like, I think I've heard something. I don't even know if this is true about like that there was drag queens or something, transvestites reading books to kids. I don't know if that's true. I throw away my TV in the 70s and I haven't watched anything since. Like, okay, great. The GOP, the GOP hasn't. Well, they just updated their man. I can't even think about it. The RNC party platform. They just updated it. The last time it was updated was, I think, 2015 or 2016. They missed. What did they miss in that time? They missed opportunities to come up with a platform, a party position on like Section 230, which would have been real nice when we were being censored on Twitter. They missed anything to do with COVID. They missed anything to do with spying and NSA stuff. They missed all of it. And who was in charge of that? Well, the person who wrote it, I can't remember her name. I think it's like Virginia. I can't look it up right now, but yeah, she's like really old. She she's totally out of it, and she was so proud of it. She promoted it. Oh, I'm so proud of this party platform that we've created, and there's nothing in it. It talks about Obama. Can you imagine that that's the party platform in 2024? that when you go to the Republican Party platform, it talks about Obama. He's ancient history. I mean, I know he did a lot, and I know he's a big part of why we're here. I totally get it, but for that to be your party platform, they're just out to lunch. When I went to the Old Glory Club event and I listened to Dave Green's speech, it was so good. He was talking about how everyone is just out to lunch. Everyone, everybody is totally clueless. The left, the boomers are out there holding signs. They're sitting in lawn chairs. They're holding a sign that says fascism, with a line through it. The young left, they're just murderous. They're sort of the Luigi Mangione side of things, or they're just insane. They're dressed up in furry suits on the sidewalk, like they're in Portland. They're totally naked. That's what they're all about. The right is this. They have no idea what time it is. They still think Reagan is the way to go. You have Mark Levin, who wrote this novel. Making Twitter beyond 240 characters was a mistake. That was a total mistake. Because now retards like him get to post novels. Oh my God. He was so offended by the anti-Semitic remarks from these young Republicans. This cannot stand. These people are out in left field. Ted Cruz, he says, the reason he's in Congress is to be the biggest advocate for Israel, not to represent people in his state, but to represent Israel. That's insane. It just has to stop. This vibe shift is reaching critical mass. Something has to move. Something will move. I don't know what's going to happen. My prediction is that it's just going to be Glenn Beck looking dejected and despondent and hanging his head in shame as he fails to relate to anyone. He'll whip out his chalkboard and no one will care because they're just going to ask him about AIPAC. The whole, from about 2001 to like the end of ISIS, sort of like Muslims were totally safe to hate. Islam was totally safe to hate. Those were the people that you were allowed to hate. You could talk bad about transgenders. You could talk bad about black on black crime. You could talk bad about sort of the excesses of feminism. All that stuff was totally, on limits. But if you dare talk about anything else, if you noticed anything, you are out. And that has to change. And I think this is a purposeful attempt at trying to neuter that. It's trying to, I remember AA, he says, revolutions only happen when the system lacks the ability and the will to maintain its own power. And I think this is a way that they do it. There's like that show, I think it's called The Savant. It's about invading right-wing spaces, uncovering right-wing hate, and putting a stop to these violent right-wingers. And that's their strategy, right? It's infiltrating these spaces. I think that's what this was. I think this was, we're going to infiltrate a space, we're going to leak it, and we're going to call everybody a Nazi, and it's target painting. The same thing happened to various groups here in the US and in the UK. The basket weaving operation got exposed. They doxed a bunch of people. And how did they do that? Well, the basket weavers invited a journalist to come and witness it. And who was the basket weaver? Oh, it was a woman, a dumbass woman who invited a journalist to come meet with all these young right-wingers who are throwing Romans and do all this stuff. So stupid. If anything, this whole thing just shows that you have to gatekeep to the nth degree. You have to really monitor who's in your organization. Because if one person gets out of line, it's over. You're going to have Gavin Wax infiltrate, blackmail you, and leak your your thing and then target paint you. I mean, I've seen people doxxed here on Twitter. I mean, not doxxed because, I mean, they're public facing people, but I mean, they're highlighted. Oh my God, this person said the N word in a Telegram chat. Well, what is the point of that? You know, what's the point of calling people fascist and racist? It's a death threat. It says that you are so morally reprehensible that you don't deserve to ever have a family. If you do have a family, you're not allowed to support them. You're not allowed to even live because we're going to show your face and your name and who you are and what you said to people who are now openly shooting people in the streets, right? Openly shooting people in the streets. So if someone calls you a fascist, that's a death threat. You just move on. You never grant frame, never apologize, double down. You know what they should have done? You know what this board of directors should have done? Here's what they should have done. After careful deliberation, after thoughtful and careful deliberation, we have decided that we were more right than we ever thought we were. That this sort of language epitomizes us, that we're proud of it, and that we can take a joke. We understand humor, that the left is the ones who are humorless, nihilistic, up their own ass. Their panties are in a wad, right? You double down. You don't apologize. You go, these people, we had no idea that our organization was full of so many based young men. But now we know. Thank God. Thank God for all these people. That's what they should have said, but no. No, we gotta back off. So, anyways, I'm not gonna keep this stream going. I've been ranting for quite a while now. Anyways, let me know if you want me to do more of these live streams. I have some other thoughts on things that I wouldn't mind ranting about. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. I do have some videos planned. I know I've been slacking. Editing is hard. I don't know if any of you have edited, but it's really hard. And I got burnt out and I kind of lost my desire to do it. But I still want to make videos. If you're really interested in seeing more of my thoughts, I do post a lot of stuff on Substack. I post a ton of notes. I post quite a few articles, longer form. I really try to write good. A lot of stuff I write, you know, there's writing to read it out loud, and then there's writing to sort of write. And I have enjoyed Substack as sort of a respite from YouTube and allowing myself to actually write some more intricate pieces. So if you and I post a lot of notes, so I kind of use it like Twitter since I'm banned on Twitter. So if you want to go over there and check me out, I'd appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. See y'all later. Bye.